Okay, this is exciting. First vlog of the trip. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back for an all-new South Africa travel vlog. If you're new here, my name is Jeff Heyer and I'm a safari travel advisor. This means I create custom-tailored itineraries for clients traveling all throughout Africa. This would include destinations like where I am right now, the beautiful country of South Africa. On the channel where you're watching this video, I love to create safari vlogs, taking audiences with me for all of these wildlife adventures. And these experiences that I feature on the channel, I love to arrange for clients who are interested in visiting them. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm glad you're here. So today's video is going to look a little bit different. Normally you find me in remote locations, tracking wildlife, out in the bush, staying at safari camps and lodges. But today, I'm going to take you along to explore a city. We are going to be going on a day tour of Johannesburg, South Africa's largest city. Now, why am I taking you into a city? The reason for this is because many safari travelers will fly into Johannesburg before embarking on their adventures in Southern Africa. This is considered the gateway to exploring places like Kruger, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and that's because Johannesburg has one of the largest and most well-connected international airports on the entire continent. So many people fly here to start their adventures. Now, many people come to me with questions about Joburg like, is it worth exploring? Should I spend a few nights there? Is it safe? And these are all very valid questions and concerns, which is what inspired me to make this travel vlog. I want to show you what a day here in Joburg is like in case you're interested in exploring it before you embark on your safari adventures. So a little bit of context and backstory. I flew in from New York City last night, a 15-hour flight. When I arrived, I was a little bit delirious. Once I arrived, I breezed through customs and got transferred right to the hotel I'm staying in right now. This is the Peach Hotel, and I'm going to be showing you more of this property later in the video. Then I absolutely crashed after a long travel day, and I woke up at 4 a.m. fully charged and ready to go because, you know, jet lag. This was me. I was like, ready to rock. And that all leads up to this moment. So the plan for today is I'm going to be picked up at 9 a.m. right here at the hotel to go on a guided day tour of Joburg. Where is this guide going to take me exactly? I'm not totally sure. It sounds like the luxury of the tour is that the schedule adapts to me. I do not adapt to the schedule. I do know that there's some points of interest we'll likely be stopping at, like the Apartheid Museum, but the luxury of this tour is that if for some reason along the way I want to stop there for lunch or go into this store, the guide will be able to accommodate that request. These are the kind of experiences I'm able to arrange for safari clients like you. So if you're interested in including a Johannesburg day trip as part of your overall itinerary, send me a safari inquiry. You can find that link in the description below. I'm really looking forward to learning more about Joburg. I've heard a lot about this place. Some people love it, some people not so much. Today I'm going to go in with an open attitude, open my eyes, open my ears, and learn more about this city so I can form my own opinion on it. I have been to Joburg before. I came here in 2019, but it was a very brief visit. I was just driving into the city, right to the airport. I did not overnight here. So today I'm excited to really dive in and learn more about what this place has to offer, what it's like. So I think that's enough context. I've been blabbing for the first few minutes of this vlog. Thanks for bearing with me. I just want to say I'm really glad you're coming with me because otherwise I'd be going solo. Let's go learn about Johannesburg and get ready for pickup. Let's do it. Before we head out, I just want to show you the view from the balcony now that the sun's coming out. Hello! On the website it describes this as one of the most inspirational stays in Johannesburg. And I have to say, I'm feeling inspired. Hello. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dalo.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Ooh, snazzy vehicle. How do I pronounce your name?
Dalo.
Dalo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for choosing me today.
I am going in with a very open mind. I'd love to visit the Apartheid Museum.
It's a huge museum.
Okay.
You can spend, some people have spent 6 hours there.
Oh, wow. There are a lot of clients I send to East Africa and Southern Africa who are interested in stopping in Johannesburg. So I wanted to kind of show them what they're able to see on a day tour like this is what my mission is.
All right. That is why it seems there's a lot of noise as if it's a failing city.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, it's a city of extreme. So there's huge adverse poverty on the south of Johannesburg. You wouldn't see what you'll be seeing today.
Yeah.
That is where the noise comes from. Other people that are living in the northern suburbs don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
They will hear about it in the news.
You're saying the northern part of Johannesburg is considered the new Joburg.
The new Joburg, yeah.
It's modernized.
It's modernized.
It's up and coming, huh?
Exactly. It used to be pockets here and there of residential part, but today that's where the city of Johannesburg is. That's where things are running. That's where the Johannesburg Stock Exchange has moved to. That's where the banking sector has moved to. That's where the hotels are.
Where does a lot of the wealth in Johannesburg come from?
It's mainly with mining, because Johannesburg started as a city because in 1886 gold was discovered here.
Is there still gold being extracted?
Yes, but not within the city of Johannesburg. So it's on the outskirts. It's going west. So it's probably running 300 kilometer distance from where it started.
Sorry, I ask a lot of questions.
No, it's fine. That makes the tour interesting. Yeah. On the right hand side, this is the Sanctuary Mandela. He lived in this house with his family from 1992 till 1997. So today it's called the Sanctuary Mandela. It's also have been turned into a boutique hotel.
Okay, so he lived here when he was president.
Exactly, but then this was his private residence.
It's wild to think he spent so many years in a small jail cell on Robben Island, and then now he has this mansion in Johannesburg, and also the Capitol building in Pretoria. And how long have you been a guide and driver?
I started 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
All these massive homes and these compounds. You can kind of just get glimpses of them from the streets.
Yeah, because the high walls, the security, you can feel the tension by just looking at the
right. So the Peach Hotel where we started is somewhere in there.
Right there in those trees.
You're saying that's the wealthiest square mile in South
Yeah,
Africa?
that's what they call it, the richest square mile in South Africa.
Wow.
So coming up on the left hand side, it's called the St. John's College. You can look at the old
wow, it's a
architecture.
beautiful building, the oldest school in Johannesburg.
Yes, this is a boys' high school. A meteorite struck this vicinity, so that big crash exposed what was hidden in the belly of the earth up to the surface, where this quasite rock, where the gold is embedded, came up to the surface.
There was a meteor that struck this landscape. It exposed a bunch of precious metal, and then the waterfalls kind of washed that away, making it more accessible. And then Johannesburg was first formed around where this gold was first discovered?
Yes.
Cool.
So Johannesburg is actually South Africa's youngest city.
Really? It's South?
Yes.
Okay. So Johannesburg grew really fast.
Very quickly, but it was one of the biggest discoveries in the world. It's bigger than the one in San Francisco.
Wow. So it was a massive gold rush.
Massive gold rush.
At a certain point, the gold supply runs out. What happens to all the people that flooded here? There was such an influx in population. How did Johannesburg recover from that?
So they were quickly bought out by people that already in diamond mines in Kimberley that came up to Johannesburg and bought out all the small time miners and started professionalizing the industry and have set up these companies that we have till today. So a lot of people with money were also skeptical because they didn't know how this industry will last, how long it will last. So those that invested are still reaping the fruits till today. So these miners, they are holding a drill, and that drill is directly facing to where the first gold deposits were found. We've got a big university in Johannesburg called Witwatersrand. We just call it Wits. So the students, because it's not too far from here, the students really saved the area. All these old apartments that were empty have been taken over by the students. So we've got pockets of safe zones. So the city, the shape of the city is the triangle. So this is Braamfontein, and to the far left we've got Doornfontein. Tall building there, Transnet. Can you see with the red writings there? Still look at the minibuses, vans that you see in front of you. This is a big transport system that was created by black people when they were sabotaging the government by not taking the government buses, and they used their own small cars within Soweto and other areas.
Here we are in Soweto.
southwest.
Okay, so we already talked about this in the car, but could you tell our audience why Soweto is so significant?
All right. Soweto is famous today. So it's an acronym. Soweto stands for Southwestern Townships. That's what it stands for. So there are 32 suburbs or townships in Soweto. And then the name that encompasses everything is Soweto, right? So Soweto is famous today because this is where most of the political activists or the struggle heroes that brought us this freedom that we're enjoying today once lived. And this is where most of the political incidents that changed the political landscape of South Africa also took place. That's where you'll see the Desmond Tutu House, the Mandela House Museum. It's actually a museum. That's where the 1976 student uprising took place, which started here and then it blew and went all over the country because the students were fighting the system of apartheid. And now that's when they were forced to study in Afrikaans, a foreign language, a hated language, the language of the oppressor. That's what the students were fighting for. And then in turn, the government's reaction was killing young defenseless students. 600 and above students were shot and killed for that. That's when the world got to see what is really happening in Soweto, because during the 1976, we as South Africa had the first group of black journalists that were working for outside media. So a lot of images was taken here and then sent out to the rest of the world.
It's a very integral part of the story.
Yes.
There's a lot of history packed into this zone.
Exactly.
And this is where you're from originally.
This is where I'm from originally. And this is where you get to see the different cultures, because all the 9 ethnic groups are here. Because this is where people from all over South Africa came to sell their labor. So it's a big melting pot of all the cultures.
Mandela, thank you so much for explaining that so well.
Okay.
We're just getting started. Stay tuned for more.
All right. Anytime you want to take a picture, maybe if I'm moving too fast, please let me know. He was going to use the pictures of people that would never come and take the pictures of him. So he decided to go to the other. So the big rock symbolizes or forms like a defense of the museum, or like a fence, because that's what the students were using to defend themselves, using stones hitting back at the police cars. This thing started here and it quickly spread out to the rest of the country. But this is where everything started. So this picture made it to the London Daily, to major newspapers, across the world. It was the first time that the world got to see firsthand of what was really happening here.
This is where the first gold deposit was found by George Harrison, which started Joburg. Ooh, the jet lag is hitting hard right now.
Yeah, I can see.
But I'm gonna power through.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna miss this. So we are on our way to the Apartheid Museum. Here we go.
Just what this place symbolizes to him.
So every guest of the museum gets a ticket, and they're going to be labeled as a non-white or a white. And this determines which direction you go. So we're going to be starting in the right passage.
Classified in South Africa, either white, black, Indian, or colored.
Okay.
So all those different race classifications were treated differently in all different departments: healthcare, education, the type of job that you're allowed to do, the kind of place that you could stay in or you could not stay in, the rights or the limitations of your rights.
And I understand there might be some parts of the museum where I'm not allowed to take video, so I'm going to do my best to take you along for the whole journey, but if it cuts off at a certain point, that's why.
So on the right and the left hand side, so in 1958, they really fought the government and managed to win. That stopped women to carry passes in South Africa. The men tried it out in 1960, but it was a big failure because 69 people died when the men went to march against the carrying of passes. So then on the left hand side, these were the Indian. They had this pass. don't pass, they had to carry them. 2, 3.
Oh my gosh, so you would just march into a room, be faced by these guys, and they'd label you based on your visual identity? You're saying that there were some people that faced these gentlemen wanting to be white.
Yes.
And so if they weren't quite sure, they'd do a pencil test, putting a pencil through their hair.
Yes.
And if it got stuck, then they would,
Get you colored.
yeah.
Yeah.
They don't seem very nice looking.
Yeah. The way you were treated in the train station, and it was.
One of the few ways of earning money was to work on the mines.
We're back at the Peach Hotel, and Dalo, thank you so much for the day. Before we wrap up this tour, I have one last question for you.
Okay.
What do you love most about Johannesburg?
I love the architecture because we've got neo-French, Victorian style, the English, how they built their homes. Mostly the people, because this is probably the only city in South Africa where you have everyone in one city. And then we don't see the differences between whether it's Sotho, Zulu, we can just all mingle and converse with each other, all one people. So I love the people, the spirit of Ubuntu. That's humanity.
Yeah. Well, thanks for answering the question. I know I put you on the spot.
Okay.
But again, thank you for the day. My head is full of Johannesburg. I just absorbed a lot of information. Physically, I feel my head pulsing.
Sorry about
No, it's all good. I wanted to pack in as much as possible today, and I feel like I have a way better understanding of what the city's all about. So thank you for being a good custodian of Joburg and taking me along for the day.
Okay.
And I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much. All right.
Thank you. All right, just made it back to my room. Just had a lovely tour of the Peach Hotel by the general manager, which was awesome. I'm gonna show you some of the clips I gathered of the other room types. This place is gorgeous. What I really learned on this property tour is really the theme of sustainability here. They put in a lot of effort into this. They don't just say they're sustainable, they are. They actually produce less waste here than the average household in South Africa, which is saying a lot considering that there's 34 rooms. I'm really happy because the sun just came out. My balcony is beaming. Whoop, I hear the birds. Look at this beautiful oasis. Can you believe we're inside South Africa's largest city right now? You would never know. Sublime. I can't move. The jet lag is so intense right now, but I must persist. Okay, reflections from the day. Successful day in Johannesburg. Really enjoyed my time here. I have to say my impression of the city greatly improved after this tour. I was really influenced by outside sources, the negativity on the internet. I feel like after this tour, I gained a newfound respect for Joburg. Some key takeaways would include Indalo's point that the people here are very, very resilient. They're very creative. They're very community driven. They have an unyielding passion for chasing their dreams. Joburg was founded really quickly and the city exploded. So no one is really from Joburg originally. It's just a melting pot culture. Really refined my knowledge on Nelson Mandela today and Soweto. This was a very eye-opening tour. I feel like I saw all different sides of Joburg. Really witnessed firsthand that wealth gap in South Africa. Everything from small shanties to these mega mansions. I'm really starting to understand that one of the themes of Joburg is the two extremes. I saw some areas of downtown that are from a bygone era, buildings that have been abandoned. On the flip side, I saw and witnessed this new age area, a place inviting innovation, new growth, expansion, and seeing these two sides, it's been tense to process. Overall, I learned a ton on this experience. I found it very enriching, and I would definitely recommend this to anyone who has a long layover or an extra day to spend in Johannesburg. Did you see that dinner? It was as delicious as it looked. Well, everyone, that's a wrap on my first vlog from my Southern Africa trip. Thank you so much for joining me for this amazing day in Johannesburg. If you want to experience the city the way I did today, send me a safari inquiry. I would love to arrange your trip. Like I said, this is just day one of the next adventure. Tomorrow I'm flying north to Botswana to kick off an all-new safari experience. Don't miss out on all the fun. Hit subscribe for more. I appreciate you being here and supporting my content. I'll see you next time.